Okay, what if spirituality wasn't about being perfect, but about being totally 100% real? We're going to dive into a powerhouse conversation between writers Saul Luckman and Dia Dividas, and it offers this rebellious, authentic, and seriously empowering approach to spirituality. It's really all about becoming a revolutionary for your own soul.
Right out of the gate, you can feel the vibe. This is not your typical whispery, new age talk. This is, like Dia Diva says, an official notice. It's basically your permission slip to stop trying to cram yourself into some spiritual box and just start embracing all the messy, beautiful contradictions that make you, you.
So the first big idea they talk about is this concept of a punk rock spirituality. I love that. It's a space that actually welcomes your rebellious soul. It totally challenges those sterile, picture-perfect spiritual ideals. And instead, it validates the paradox of being a spiritual being having a very, very human and sometimes very complicated experience.
And this permission slip, it gets really specific. Let's just sit with these for a second. You are absolutely allowed to curse while meditating. You're allowed to just acknowledge that life is a giant paradox. And guess what? So are you. You can let your contradictions make perfect sense because they do. And you can, 100%, be turned on by your own authenticity. The whole point is to just give yourself permission to be beautifully, divinely imperfect on your path.
Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial point. If authenticity is the goal, what's the biggest thing that gets in our way? Well, according to this conversation, it's the trap of locking ourselves into a single, fixed identity.
And you can see the two paths laid out right here. On one side, you've got faceless authenticity. That's all about freedom, evolution, focusing on your ideas and your work, not some perfectly curated selfie. But on the other side, you've got the fixed identity. And that's all about being tied to a brand, an image. It basically traps you in a box where you can't evolve.
I mean, that sounds a little dramatic, doesn't it? Dangerous. But there's a really profound reason why clinging to just one version of yourself is seen as so destructive to your spiritual journey.
And here it is. Dia Dividas just lays it out there. No pulling punches. Identification is a killer of growth. Think about it. When we get fixated on one face, one role, one identity, we just stop growing. We literally kill our own evolving beauty because we refuse to let ourselves change. The bottom line is that real growth requires the freedom to become someone new, and a fixed identity completely robs you of that freedom.
All right, now let's talk about a familiar tool, but in a totally new light. Most of us think of tarot as a way to, predict the future. But this conversation just flips that idea on its head. What if tarot isn't about telling your fortune, but about creating your reality?
This whole idea comes from this fantastic story about Dea's mother. See, she wasn't into simple fortune telling. She saw the cards as a tool to see the direction reality was heading, the vector, like a weather forecast for your life. And that's what gave her the power. She could see what was coming and then actively step in and change course if she didn't like it. So the idea is to approach it like a kid. Children have this intuitive magic, right? If a kid draws a card in a game that they don't like, what do? They just say, I don't like this one. I want another one. It's this simple, powerful act of choosing a different reality. The big takeaway here is that we aren't just passive victims of our fate. We have the power to choose a different path.
Now, this playful, almost childlike approach to the tarot isn't just, wishful thinking. It's actually grounded in some pretty deep metaphysical principles that explain how we interact with and literally shape our reality.
Okay, so the first key concept here is superposition. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads with, infinite paths stretching out in front of you. Superposition is the wild idea that you are, in a quantum sense, on all of those paths at once. They all exist as possibilities. Your true power is your ability to consciously choose which one of those paths you want to walk down, and that's what makes it real for you.
And that is where inner alchemy comes in. This is the real work, you guys. It's not about trying to change the world outside of you. It's about transforming your inner world, your consciousness, your frequency, your beliefs. By changing yourself, you graduate from just reacting to life to becoming a conscious creator of your life.
So all of this leads to the final and, honestly, the most empowering insight from the whole discussion. After talking about external tools like tarot cards, the conversation makes this critical pivot, inward, to the most powerful tool any of us will ever have. This is the question that just changes the whole game. We spend so much time looking for answers in cards, in the stars, in books. But what if the ultimate oracle, the ultimate source of wisdom, was actually something we were born with?
And there's the answer.
Plain and simple. We don't ultimately need any external tools because our own physical body is the most sophisticated, most accurate, and most powerful oracle we could ever possibly ask for.
And this isn't some abstract idea, it's so practical. Your body is talking to you all the time. Think about it. Those food cravings you get, they're not weaknesses, they're messages. Your body is telling you what it needs. The actual sound of your own voice, its frequency, its tone, can perform real-time magic and shift your energy. Your body is the ultimate compass, and you just have to learn how to read it.
So, how do you do it? How do you access all this inner wisdom? Well, Dia's advice is about as direct as it gets. You just have to breathe. You have to tell the relentless chatter of your mind to shut up, and you just have to feel. The answer isn't in your thoughts. It's waiting for you in the quiet wisdom of your body.
So that's the final thought, really. The greatest spiritual tool you will ever have is the one you live in every single moment. It's not out there somewhere, it's right here. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. Your body is an oracle. What is it telling you right now?